So I figured I was looking at some of the people following the MongoDB hackathon, and that kind of reminded me of doing that, and I think I'm going to be participating. So if you're joining in, you're in for a ride. It's going to be a fast one. I'm not sure how. I'm not really sure how much I'm going to be able to do it, but we are in it. We're gonna do it for fun and just for the kicks. But maybe if we submit something good, oh, we might win something. So yeah, I think we're gonna be going forward from the game itself, where we had some of the data that we already talked about. Um, we do have to create some of the UI, some backend as well. I have not started any backend work yet, but I'm going to do that. But yeah, we're gonna see how that turns out in the end. So I'm quickly going to start with some of the designs that we were working on previously. I'm gonna close a lot of things that I kept open for some reason. So one of the things that I really need is we do have the designs for the game themselves, but then we also have the players that play. Now the thing is, um, we don't want to allow people to join in the game, so we have to decide where we would keep the data. Um, and we also have to utilize MongoDB for this one as well. So we're probably going to see either. I'm thinking now. So idea should be here that we have multiple people playing the game. Okay. I think the fun part would be to make this in a way that multiple people can join, right? Um, but then we have people who are going to be using this from Facebook, but also, I mean, they could be using, I'm thinking now. So someone joins in the game via their Google, or let's say via their Google account, and then they start playing the game. Um, do we also have, I'm going to see if we also have other, can I add one more project? In the project name, let's say, mm, let's call it memoir. What does memoir mean? Historical account and biography written from personal knowledge. All right. Memory synonym. Recollection, reminiscence, evocation, souvenir, echo, impression, memory bank, store, cache. What? All right. Let's see. Flashback. Flashback is a nice name. Deadeye, mind's eye. Flashback is a nice name, I think. So maybe call this flashback. Then wherever we are saying memory game, we can change that to flashback. Let's play the memory game. We could also call that. And let's see. Flashback. So let's call it flashback in that case. And we would also have memory game written somewhere. So we're gonna be changing that to flashback. Let's refresh this. So we do let's go, and then we go into the round itself. And then we have the game itself. So we are going to call this flashback. Continue. Okay, select an account. Yes, please. Create a project. We're gonna integrate we're gonna see how to structure this game generally. I mean, we could have thinking. We could have the authentication on Firebase. I'm thinking what should we keep on Firebase and what should we keep in MongoDB itself? Or should we not use Firebase at all? We could use it for authentication, maybe not for anything else. Or we could use, let me see. Atlas search. You only pay for the operations that you run. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hmm. All right. So we definitely got the Atlas server instances. What else do we have? We gotta make this quick. I think function and triggers. This is something that we could use. Atlas serverless instances. Maybe. Maybe realm functions and triggers. This is something that we could use. When you call a function, you can dynamically access components of the current application as well as information about the request to execute function logged. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. The thing is, we are not using any of those anywhere. So I think we might just be using the database, and that's it. Now, what do we store in the database itself? Hmm. We could use the we could use Firebase for authentication. Um, and for the real time stuff. But then finally, when we have the score, we save it to MongoDB. What do you think? Maybe that would work. All right. Let me quickly sign in first. Mm-hmm. All right. So first, we need to do something, and that is we need to have a sort of a create game or a new game, right? When we create a new game, we should create an invite, and then that invite can be joined by multiple people. So let's quickly do that. I'm gonna be looking at Nest.js, Prisma, MongoDB. Hmm. Should we be using Prisma? Okay, MongoDB, Prisma, TypeScript, save dev, npx Prisma init, but then connecting your database. All right. So we need to do a couple of things. First of all, we need to so TypeScript already there, types node is already there. Prisma is something that we don't have it yet. So we can quickly go ahead into our app, and then we can just install Prisma. What are we using, yarn or npm? I save Prisma. Mm-hmm. API interfaces, okay. Well, the code is super weird, but or at least the directory structure. So we do. npx prisma unit. Created at Prisma. You can open it in your favorite editor. Alrighty then. So we're gonna go to Prisma and schema.prisma. So we're gonna say MongoDB, and then we need to give the env database URL, and the env file is here exactly. So, interesting. Alrighty. So let me quickly check my um. Did I implement? No. Did I implement the blur thingy? Maybe I did not. Ending OBS Studio. Yeah, I did. Yay, let's go. All right, so I'm gonna be quickly going and checking my DB credentials. And I also need to say that this env, or is it inside API? API source, environments, production, blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever. And then we gotta go to our env that we need to ignore as well. Env, and we gotta have our let's see. So in this cluster we have some collections. We're going to create a database. Call is flashback. Oh, actually, I think we can just connect it. So this guy, connect your application. And then we got this guy here. What is the name of my, okay. Open. Right, yes. So I'm gonna copy this guy, close this guy, and then just use this. And this name would be flashback. Save, and I think we're good. Cool. Awesome. So we gotta get the database URL. And now I think we can look into how to connect with Prisma. So database URL in the env file, point out to existing database, then getting started, set the provider for data source block to match your data, and then it also said something about db pull or something. Right, Prisma db pull. No. Let's quickly get this out of the way. All right. Cool. And then we connect our database. Then whatever that is, and then creating the Prisma schema that we do it just like this with the MongoDB schema. So, all right. So there are going to be a lot of things right here. And then we install the Prisma client. Okay. So Prisma examples, do they have MongoDB? Databases, MongoDB, there we go. And they do have an example here. Okay. So in this one, we got a Docker compose. Am I sharing my screen now? Yeah, I'm. So they get something, MongoDB username, Prisma, blah, blah, blah. Then they start with Prisma itself, and it has a schema.prisma where they have MongoDB database URL. Then, okay. Okay. I mean, should we be using Prisma? Should we be using Mongoose? Not really sure. Let's try Prisma for now. So schema.prisma is having the data source DB. The client is that one. Or actually, client is already there. Prisma client JS and preview features MongoDB. And I need to add this guy here as well. And this guy as well. So we don't need any user per se. Or maybe we do. So user would have an ID. Then a created ad, first name, last name, email, or actually this would be name, string, and then post. I don't think we're gonna have post, but we're gonna have like games. So we would have a game, right? And each game is gonna have an ID. I'm gonna have a created date. I'm gonna have a title. I don't know if it's gonna have a title, to be honest. No title, maybe. Most likely no title. But let's say it's going to have a winner. That's gonna be user. It's also going to have, not sure, a winner ID, which is going to be this references ID. It's going to be one winner, right? Going to be views as well. If someone else comes in and checks the score, I'm not sure if there should be views for that game. No, I don't think so. But we should have something like participants and Prisma.js. So Prisma.js, do they have an array? Yeah, the array. So here we should have participants. That's going to be a user type, just like this. Why does it say so a relation? So now I'm not really sure. The fields is winner ID, and here we don't specify any relation, right? And then should we have a user's posts? No, right? Because each game has its own posts, so we don't probably need this. We don't probably need this. Participants should be users, right? And then if I do this, then it says relation. Okay. So when we have participants, error validating field participant in model game, the relation field participants on model game is missing an opposite relation field on the model user. Oh, okay. Then that's this one. But then the field itself It's going to be author ID. No. So it references the ID. Hmm. I'm thinking the winner ID itself. I don't really know if the fields should be there. So references ID. I need to see Prisma documentation as well on how they cater this. So Prisma talks. So we got MongoDB preview features, MongoDB, blah blah blah. Hmm. So a field, any field almost any scalar field that maps to an object ID in the underlying database. So ID, string generated, user parts, okay. Creating an object ID. Hey Brocco, how's it going? I'm working on this game right now. So I'm working on this game, participating in the hackathon, which I joined quite late. It's ending tomorrow. So I'm gonna see how long I go for. So it's gonna be a game that you can play with like multiple people, and sort of a memory game. So you would have all these tiles, you flip those, you kind of try to remember what you saw, and you kind of match those tiles together. So I'm using MongoDB right now for this, and I'm using NX repository uh, for the whole monorepo thing. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. How about you? What have you been up to? So I'm looking into the documentation um of Prisma since I never used it before. No limitations. There are no embedded collection support. Okay, I think that makes sense. We are not going to be using embedded collection ourselves as well. That's nice. That sounds good. Mohammed Bilal, walaikum salam. Yeah, it takes. I mean, every time I want to stream, I usually think about the same thing. Like, I mean, should I do something else? Because I have tutorials to create that I already have lined up. I was working earlier on this thing. What was it? GitHub.com or asanayaz.github.io fun with JavaScript. So this is the latest tutorial on my data structures and algorithm series. So I was working on this guy just to teach how data structures work and what is essentially an avial tree, how you create them. So yeah, a preview of balance tree, blah blah blah. But yeah, every time I stream, I keep thinking of the things that I have to build. This is one of those things. I need to also create a tutorial um for this guy that I built recently. So the 2048 games rendition with Angular. So I need to now think about the easiest way to teach this because it's doing a lot of crazy stuff here and there. Um, but yeah, I get you. It's tough when you have a lot of side projects. Bilal, how's it going? Oh yeah, definitely. That would be awesome. I'm giving a talk on Angular Nation in the next one for sure. Um, but yeah, Angular Air would be nice to do as well. I think I can connect with you on Twitter, kind of ping you there. Any good course and tips to learn Angular? I think the best place is, or my personal favorite is the Angular IO documentation. If you follow the tour of heroes, that is superb. I personally followed a lot of tutorials from Todd Motto as well. So if you go to Ultimate Courses, he has got a lot of good content on Angular. I'm recommending this because I personally learned from it even when I was not a Google developers expert, and when I was learning like I don't know 4 to 5 years ago. Um, One more good resource I can recommend is this guy. I'm not sure if you're into books. Uh, yeah, Thinkster has some really good courses. Yes, definitely. So you can also look into that. I can also recommend this bad boy that I wrote, I think last year. So it's a book that I wrote, and it has a huge list of topics to cover. If you're getting into, if you want real world projects to work on, I would definitely recommend this book because it covers from component communications to CDK, Angular forms, unit testing, end-to-end testing. If you're really looking to polish your skills for enterprise web applications, this is going to be really helpful, or at least get those base really strong, because all of these things are distributed into more than 80 recipes, which means that you work on different projects. Um, I think Thinkster has his own site. Pretty sure. Thinkstart.io, yes. Yep. So there should be a lot of courses here. Master Angular faster. Let's go. Awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna be, yeah, I was looking into at least creating one of some of the entities at least. So we got the user here, we got the DB here. All right, what do we do next? So we got schema.prisma right there. We're gonna take a look at the examples here. So we got create user, the create user essentially. So we do need to install Prisma client, of course, which we did not so far. Let's quickly go ahead and add that. I know we don't need to use the save anymore, but I think I have developed a habit of it. For this one, I'm gonna be, I was thinking, so this is a MongoDB Atlas or Mongo Atlas Hackathon. So what I was thinking is that I use Firebase for authentication, and I use this, and I'm kind of juggling around either having uh, this sort of a completely multiplayer game in which each player takes a turn. So, for instance, player one takes a turn, tries to score, then second one takes a turn and tries to score. So, if I'm gonna do that, I was thinking of having authentication on Firebase and also having this real time engagement from Firebase, like whose turn it is, but then finally storing the game and the score per se on MongoDB itself. So because the hackathon obviously is MongoDB Atlas. So yeah, I think that was the only thing that I was planning to store in the MongoDB. So that is, I mean, we could do it without, I mean, if you think about it, we could do that with Firebase functions as well. We could simply use mongoose, but then we are spinning those functions every time someone is trying to access it, which I don't really think is a great idea. So maybe I was thinking just utilizing MongoDB at least for storing these kind of things, and everything that is runtime during that game, we just use Firebase for that. It will be around for quite a while. There are hundreds of apps inside of Google that are built with Angular. Definitely, yes. Will Angular be used in the next 2 3 years or die? It's gonna be used, I mean, a lot. I mean, trust me if I'll tell you this, but there are hundreds and hundreds of enterprises which are even today using Angular JS, and they are kind of trying it hard to get developers for maintaining all those applications. So it's going to continue for years to come, I think. And one of the reasons, as Braga said, that there are a lot of apps even inside Google that that are built on top of Angular, so they cannot just kill it anytime soon. And I don't really think that technologies die as often as people people tend to kind of, you know, picturize it. When I started my career like 8 years ago, I was told that PHP is gonna die, and then still you see it's still being used. So here we are. Alrighty, so I was looking at the example of creating a user. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my API app. I'm looking at the first time with the app controller. So I'm just gonna write some shitty code here for sure. So we got our service here. We got a controller here. So let's quickly put this code into the service itself. So we're going to be importing the Prisma client. So we are doing a new Prisma client. All right, that's fine. Then we have a main function here, and then we do this await. So I'm going to actually take this guy out here, and then it says call main. So it calls main, and then it essentially disconnects it in the end. Why though? Is this sort of, so it's using main, catch finally, and then disconnect. What I'm not understanding is that do you do this? Okay, they probably just call this function and then disconnect it at the end. All right. So what we want to do here is we probably don't want to disconnect, and we gotta go and check these folks out. So create a new function. We're gonna just say something like create user right there, and we also should be having, we don't have the email, so we could just say name here, Muhammad Ahsan, and we can say Muhammad Ahsan at example.com, and we got don't have Hannah here, we have Ahsan here, and then finally we return this variable from here. Actually, we're not returning, but we should be returning Ahsan from here. All right, so we call the create user function, and we should be able to just get this running. Now let's create this function with post, and we're going to be using Nest.js post decorator, and then we say create user, GitHub Copilot. Thank you so much for helping me out here. Makes things faster. Alrighty, so we do create user, and then we send the data back. Do we need to do anything else apart from this? So we set up our Prisma thingy. We do have our connection string right there. We're using the Prisma client as we have in the GitHub example. Quickly gonna go and see if there's anything that I need to run. And when you have package.json, what do you do? The script create user, it essentially runs TS node. Okay, so it just runs the function. It seems good to me. All right, so I'm gonna run nxserve API, and then we're gonna use insomnia to just do a call, and we'll quickly see if that works out for us. Insomnia create request collection flashback, create a new request. We say create user. This is just something random that I'm just trying to create for now. So it's going to be, where do we run our Nest.js application? Is it debugger is here. Yes, there we go. Localhost 3333/API. So we're gonna do this, and then we had what sort of function do you do? App controller. Okay, so just slash and then post. Get hello, but then post. Oh yeah, I'm just running a post on this one. So we're gonna just do a random JSON. I think we're not doing anything with the JSON ourselves. Yeah, we're not getting the request, so we don't even need the JSON. So if I do this, what happens? Yay, let's go. So we got our data. Uh, this was quite flawless, and I need to now see in my collections if I can find the data. Come on, Atlas, come on. Browse collections. Hey, we got the user here. Let's go. So I'm gonna delete this guy, and now let's talk about creating this functionality. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't really know how Nest.js structure works, but I'm gonna probably create some things or see Nest.js documentation maybe. Nest.js. Do they have a CLI like Angular or no? Do they have a CLI? They do have a CLI. Ooh, look at that. So we got Nest.js CLI, Nest generate help. Ooh, let's go. They are highly inspired from Angular, that means. All right, so I'm gonna open another one. Zen bin Abid, what are you doing so late? I again forgot to do something. Give me 1 second. Ta-da! If you're enjoying this, make sure to leave a like and or a subscription. That would be really nice. And when I say subscription, I mean YouTube, not necessarily on Twitch, because on Twitch it kind of it's not free, unfortunately. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna quickly go ahead, and then we have nest generate help. So we are going to see nest generate help. So essentially, we need to create another route, right? So we need application class configurator controller decorator. Do we have service as well? Yes, we have. So we do. Do we have a route? No. So CRUD resource. When we have a game developed, we would require its CRUD for sure. I think. So can we start with CRUD? And do they also have a schematic? Yeah, they do. So that means I can run the dry run here. So we're gonna say ng generate. Oh no, is it n? No, it's nest generate. So nest generate resource, and we can run with dry run. And I'm gonna make sure that I'm not live for quite a long time because I need to sleep. Plural eg. So it's gonna be games. REST API, GraphQL, microservices, webhook, WebSockets. REST API. Let me think. Microservice, no. REST API. Credit entry points, yes, please. So what happened was inside the source games, we have all the controllers, then we have DTO as well created, updated, and then entities and game entity and whatnot. Okay, that's good. So I'm gonna remove this. But do we have a DTO for app? I don't think so. Do we have a DTO for app? No, right? We don't have it. Or should I use nx generate? So nx nest API. Let's plug in. Do we? How do we generate? Yeah, there we have it. So we have application because I'm in nx workspace. So I'm thinking, should I be using generate library commands, nest generators, the source root flag should be used for all nest generation. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So that means I'm gonna actually remove this and maybe try this. And regenerate, and then resource, and then source root. Source root is, what is it? Apps API. Apps API, something like that, right? No, we should also run this with dry run, so I'm sure what I'm doing. Let me see. Games, REST API, yes. Source root is not found in this schema. Did I mess it up? No, it looks like source root. Did I mess it up? No, it looks good to me. Source root. Oh, it should be apps API. No. Is it like this? Source, dry run, or am I doing some stupidity and not doing? No, no, my. Hmm. Remove this guy, open this guy. Source root, dry run, games, REST API, blah blah blah. It says not found in the schema. That's weird. Why don't I need? I don't know. Let's say we run with dry run only. Games, yes, yes. So, memory game, no, no, that's not what I'm thinking of. Is it project rather? Project API games. Yeah, there we go. So why does it say source root? No. Uh-huh. All right. Should be project rather. So that means it's creating it inside source slash games, which is good. Does it also create a module for this one? Yeah, it does. All right, all right. So we don't need this guy. Yay! Live debugging. So we're gonna call this games, REST API, true, and now I should be able to just see. Shouldn't it be inside? All right, whatever. I'm probably not gonna be using this guy because how is it linked to the app module is bootstrap, right? And then we need to import that inside. No, I'm gonna remove this. Sorry. Yeah, I'm probably gonna remove this and also call this. Let me have a look at it. And if I run this with nest CLI, project structure, default compiler, nest build, nest start, okay. Workspaces, nest new my project, then it has source inside, and then that's that, okay. Then we got my project, app controller, okay. Workspace project, yes, yes, yes. Libraries, CLI properties, okay. Collection, source root, all right. Global options, okay. Cool. So if I need to create a new one, CRUD generator, resource. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it goes inside source users module, okay? But then also updates the app module, which is important. This is important, I think, because the update of app module should actually import the other modules. So that's what we need to take care of. Stop. What are you doing? So it's not doing anything, right? Can we close and open this again? No, it's still trying to do something. All right. All right, let's assume that this doesn't do anything. Or we could do something like rmrf. Did it update the module to include game module? No, right? It didn't. So in that case, first of all, I need to add VS Code as well. Or I could keep it actually. No. You know what? I could keep it. All right, let me see. So VS Code is what I've got. Then I got also Prisma, and then some other stuff as well. Let's actually save this state. Gut git git add emoji c. I'm gonna commit this code so I don't lose the track of it. Otherwise, it's gonna be a problem if I mess it up. Um, added Prisma, MongoDB connection. Push, 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 push. So now if I run, um, can I give this a path? I mean, if I'm running nest CRUD generator, can I give this a path? So let's say I do, let's say, hmm, let's say I do nest generate resource and help. Okay. So this will let me at least know the project. Okay. Then spec, no need to say spec. Right. So we need to say something like try run, but we also need to say project API. If I say so, would it still find? No, 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 no. It says source API project entities. No, that's not good. No files written to disk, thank God. All right. So we definitely need to do that. The NX way of doing this. Controller service global. But it said Nest.js. Hmm. So let's see. Project is this one. Directory where they're placed. CRUD. Default true. Dry run. Skip NX cache. No need. Skip import. No need. Flat. So we just need to give that directory, right? And if I do this, and then I say directory. Is it directory? Yeah, it's directory. And it's called app directory. Directory. And then dry run. And this should be games. So if I do this, would it generate it? So API source app games. Exactly. This is what I wanted because we want this update to happen as well. Yay, let's go. Let's remove try run. So we are using the API directory app games, and then we run it. Cool, cool, cool. So now we got this inside our games folder. We got game service, create game DTO, adds a new game, find all, find one, update, remove. That's good. So we're gonna start creating a game, and then we are going to give this a random URL, a random 6-digit UUID, and make it run. Right? Then anyone can join that game, and then we can get started. So this game DTO should have what is this? Nest.js map types. Game I save. We don't have this saved, unfortunately. When we create the game, do we invite anyone? No. I think we should be just saying that this is a new game and that's it, right? So if I open this file again, this should be fixed. No, it's not. That's sad. Interesting. Interesting. All right. So to create game DTO, this has to have. How do we connect that with Prisma? CRUD generator, nestjs.com. But we were also looking into. I mean, we could look into Mongoose. Why are you using Prisma? I mean, we could use Mongoose, right? Because I'm familiar with that. Maybe use Mongoose instead of Prisma. So I'm not confused with what I'm doing at all. Uh, 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 uh. Warning, this article as a consequence, this solution contains a lot of overhead that you can omit using available out of a Nest Mongoose package. Okay. So why we can use that. Yeah, I'm gonna skip Prisma because I don't really want to don't really want to use something new for this. I could. Maybe I shouldn't be. Cursor, update user. Mm-hmm. 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 Wait. I'm gonna continue with Prisma, and if I get stuck, then I'm gonna change that. VS Code, yes, please. No, don't delete it anymore. Stupid. All right. Cool. So the thing is, the Prisma thingy that we have, do we need to generate uh Prisma Nest.js? So do we need to generate user and Prisma from Prisma client? Or all right, wait a second. So we created a Prisma file, then We don't need to do that. Install and generate Prisma client. So we do npm install Prisma client, then okay, then we need to run Prisma generate. So we need to run Prisma generate or node modules pins Prisma generate, right? You can now start using Prisma client in your code, reference blah blah blah. Prisma equals to new Prisma client. Okay, that's good. So then we can import Prisma client. Then we extend the service or service with this one. And then when setting up your Nest.js application, you want to abstract away the Prisma client API for database queries within service. To get started, you can create a new Prisma service that take care of instantiating the Prisma client and connecting to your database. Okay. Inside the source directory, create a new file called prisma.service.ts and then add the following code to it. Okay. So in the source directory, we need to add a new file called prisma.service. मोहम्मद अबू रेरा, yes, यहाँ पे तो काफ़ी रात हो रही है वैसे भी, but yes. So in this one, we are doing this. Note on module init is optional. You leave it out. Prisma can lazy on the first call to the database. Won't bother. Okay, that sounds good. Next, you can use write services that you can use the make database call. Okay, so in this case, we are adding the Prisma service, and then we get the user from Prisma, and then we do this. So we create a user. So find where um hmm. we have a create user. So we're gonna copy this one, right? So let's go to games. It's gonna just gonna change it. And that is a service. Yes, that is a service. That is a service. So we got to create one here. So we'd say something like this. Create async create game, user create input. Not really sure if that should be something that I should be aware of. So I'm gonna actually use this guy from here. Prisma service. It's gonna be actually this, right? Then we got user, Prisma, or actually not user but game, right? So we got game here. Then data Prisma dot user create input. Now this is weird because I do have a Prisma client. Do we have games? Do we need to do games here actually? But yeah, maybe we do. Views. Maybe call this likes, right? Instead of views. Create title, body. The game should not have a title, or maybe should have a title, could have a body, could not have a body. But maybe it should not have a title, but it would definitely have a URL, right? And that's going to be string. The body itself, I don't really know, but it could have, let's say, yeah, let's call it a body. Now we're gonna do a Prisma Prisma generate, right? So now in the service, I should have user create input that has Prisma dot, what do you call it? Um, game create input, right? And it returns back a game to us, right? I'm gonna remove this guy from here, and then this should be, I mean, are we injecting the Prisma service here? Oh, we are. We are injecting it. Okay, cool. So that means user is missing in the following properties from game title body blah blah blah. Oh, okay, yeah, this should be games, game.create. Yes. Alrighty. We're gonna do the same thing for the others, right? So user where unique input. Instead of this, we're gonna say get user or get game. So is it user? Users. So users, create user, update user. So it's gonna be user. So we could also call this find all. So game find one, right? So it's gonna be called find one, and we can call this one create. So we got create, find one, and then here game where unique input. It's gonna say game here. It's gonna say game dot find one, and I'm gonna say game where unique input, right? Quickly do that. So we're not going to do find all. We are going to do find one. We are also going to do update as well. I don't think we need find all here. I mean, we could have that, but yeah, let's have that. Let's not have that. Changing my mind every time. Update, update, update. Why do we need to say update user where we have update itself? So update is enough. Prisma game where unique input, then game update input. We're gonna return a game from here. We're gonna say game data where, and then we gotta have remove. Are we using the word remove or delete? Let's keep it remove. So remove game where unique input. You're gonna say game game game. Then we gotta have a game here, and we gotta remove this guy from here. Alrighty. So we got a lot of things going on in the service. Let's quickly go and work our um worker controllers, right? So we got our service in there. Let's see what our controllers look like. So post service dot what? So we got a post here, but what about the controllers? Yeah, there we go. So we got post ID, feed, filtered post search string, post, user, and there's a lot of things going on here, right? So we gotta have something like this maybe. So when we do a post here into game controller, which is this one, right? So this create game DTO, it doesn't have anything. So we might want to just maybe say that this is going to, why can't we use the same thing here? I mean, can't we use something like game unique, whatever it was, something like that, right? Prisma dot, yeah, Prisma dot something. So Prisma client, can't we use the same thing here? Can't we use the same thing here? I'm gonna use the same thing here maybe. So have something like Prisma dot game create input, right? Something like this. Find all doesn't exist. Find one, we gotta call this URL. And then should we be using ID? No, we shouldn't be using ID. We should use URL, 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 and this shouldn't be that. So find where unique input. Do we need to mark our Prisma database as ID default Should this be primary ID? I'm not sure. We could use it. Find one. Find one should be right. Should we say something like this? Uh, something like this? Really? Hey Agu, how's it going? I'm gonna have to see where unique input um dot URL type of Prisma. It doesn't exist here. Can we say this? So we got the URL, but we cannot pass it. And object game where unique. So what are these exactly? Game where unique input. I can only take ID. The URL should be unique as well. Prisma define Prisma define Prisma schema unique. Uh, how do you say unique? There you go, unique. So you go and into your service, Prisma service. No, it's Prisma schema.prisma. So this URL is unique. That's what I wanted to say. Then I run this, generate this, and then here should it be okay? No. Interesting. So if I see now game where unique input, and that's ID. And I did say that URL is going to be string of type. Is it unique or is this unique ID? Unique constraints. I'm thinking now. Prisma, MongoDB, Prisma, MongoDB, unique property. Hmm. Hmm. This should be good. Don't know why this would be a problem. Let's see again. Can I pass URL here? No, I cannot because that's a string and that's not going to go into find one here. And why does it game where unique input? Why does it say so it does have URL. Come on. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. I need to remove this partial type. Update game DTO. DTO. I'm gonna delete these DTOs. Sorry. Sorry. Please go away. I'm gonna comment you for now. Please wait. So this URL should be fine. There we go. Finally. Finally. All right. Cannot resolve dependencies. A lot of errors. Can't resolve game service. Please make sure that the Prisma service index 0 is available in the game's module context. service. Is it? Is it? Prisma is a is it, it's not part of the games module. Okay. So we need to pass this into providers. No, should it be provided in root? Should it should it be provided in app module service Prisma service? Do we still have a problem? Hmm. But then that's not included in that, right? That means that we gotta have, yeah, that's how dependency injection works. So we gotta have a Prisma service being imported here, which should mark this okay-ish. Anyways, so we got find one, we got remove the controller here, we got body, create game input, in which all of those things are there. Then we got URL, we find by URL. Then we got patch. Um, do we also patch by ID or URL? We patch by ID, but do we get with URL? I think we do. We should patch with ID, not with URL, for sure. For sure. So Prisma dot game update input, and then that goes inside. Why do we have a hmm? Oh, we do. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So where unique input is going to be ID, but then we have data. But we have one object with where and data. Uh-huh. So we gotta have one object with where, ID. Is that so? I don't really think so. It's gonna be ID, but then also data. No, we did game DTO. Something like this, right? All right, then we got delete. So when we delete this, we're gonna remove with ID. Why do I need to define the plus here? It shouldn't be plus. That should be ID, right? There we go. Now we should be able to create data. So we're gonna quickly go and say games. So we gotta say create game. We're gonna say post game. Is it users or user? The second one? No, it should be game, right? So if I do game, cannot say games. Internal server error, obviously, because we don't have the data. So argument URL for data URL is missing, but we don't have errors caught anywhere. So Nest.js, do you have users error? How do I handle errors here? Error, common errors, disable errors, dependency, um, catch, exception filters, catch everything. So you got exception filter. Uh-huh. Hmm. All right. Okay. 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 So, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. maybe we should use this. So we got http exception filter.ts. Let's quickly add that. Source app, or actually inside source. So http exception filter.ts. Got this code inside. Got that done. And then we just need to do catch exception. Binds the required metadata to the exception. Okay, argument host, binding filters. So we need to use the exception filter. Okay. Okay. Throw new exception, use filters. Okay, that's good. So that means we just need to import the games controller, and here we just need to say post use filters, http exception filter, and that should be good. So if I create now the game with the same API, I should get a better error, or no? No? Why? But shouldn't this have caught path UR? Isn't it what? Okay. Is it after post or before post? So we got post, then use filters, then async, blah blah blah. But then we have a forbidden. Ah, okay. What should we get? Create, and then we got create here. Confused a bit. Let's see. My camera went down. I'm gonna recharge it really quick, and then I'm gonna think about going to bed really soon. All right, let's put it up. So we got Prisma, get a game update, remove, blah blah blah. All right, let's see. Let's see. So when we create this, we essentially return. This is a promise, right? Create a game. I mean, this is not necessarily this should be async. This is what I'm thinking now. Game client, blah blah. Interesting. Anyways, so let's say, for the sake of simplicity, let's say we create the create input, which has ID, URL. I mean, the whole thing that we have essentially is the URL itself. What time is it where you live? It's about 4 a.m. right now. About 4 a.m. Let's say we go JSON and say URL unique 1 to 3. So if I do send here, yay, let's go. So we got it created. Body is null, likes 0, winner ID equals to null. Participants, although I don't see. Why don't I see participants? User creates nested many without games input. So, having that said, I was like, wow, what the heck? So if I don't send it, then we got a problem, right? But then it crashes like an idiot. Should we rather have like catch everything in that case, right? So in that case, we would be implementing something like this. So we do this. Let's see if we can nail this one down. So we go ahead into our file, we rename this to exception filter, right? We change the code, we go ahead and change this guy here, app module ts. So we go to our app module ts, and then we change the providers to have this. So app filter is gonna come from Nest.js core. All exceptions filter is probably gonna come from here, right? But then I probably don't need this. That's what I think. Where is the DTO coming from? I don't have a DTO file at all. DTO. Oh, there we go. Why do we have these files? Where do we have these files? What? Ah, okay. I need to delete these files. RM, RF, API. No, it's apps, API, source, games. Sorry, you gotta go. Alrighty. So this means we should be good, right? And that means if I try to send this guy, I still get an error. Status code 500 timestamp and path. It's still the same error, the same status, but I mean it, at least it's getting the data now. So we let's say we send another unique 234 or 234, and we create that creates a new one. That's good. And then if I try to get another one, yes, get game. So if I get game, that would mean please go inside games. Thank you. Then I'm gonna just copy this, come back here, and then it's, what was it, unique underscore 123. So if I get this, yay, let's go, we get 123. And if I say 245 or 246, which one was it? No return response. 246. No, no, it's 234. Yay, let's go. So we do get that back, but we essentially need to be sure that that game exists. So for example, if I'm running this, where is it, get find one, right? So there we have, let's say we say const game equals, or do we do that in the find one itself? So let's say we try to get the game itself. So we say const game equals, and then we say return game, right? And if not game, we do throw. What was the new exception itself? There was something like throwing the standard exceptions. HTTP exception forbidden. So throw new HTTP exception, and that is not found. And then HTTP status dot not found, something like this, right? So if I do this, and if I try finding out something that doesn't exist, like 2, does it say not found? No, it doesn't. It still returns a 2, oh yeah, 200. Do we need to do await here? Maybe we do. Yay, let's go. So we need to do the await on the call. So we get a 404, we see that it's not found. Cool, 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 cool. What else do we need to do? I think we are at a good point here. Then we also gotta get update and delete. So I'm gonna duplicate this guy with update game. And then I'm gonna also say another call that's gonna be delete game, right? So let's do the delete one first. So it's gonna be delete API games, and then all I need to do is say unique 234. So 234 exists so far, but if I send a call that says 500, that says shut up. All right, so let's get the game. So it was 234. The game exists. The URL, we cannot use the URL for deletion, which is of course fine. We need to use the ID instead of the URL. The URL can only be retrieved for getting it. See, now the delete call works. And if we try to get the same game now, it will say 404. Boom, there we go. Now let's update the game, which is 123. So I'm gonna use the, but I'm gonna have to use the ID of the game, right? So 123, we're gonna get the ID out of it, and then actually I'm gonna copy all of this object, and then I'm gonna update this, and then let's say the URL itself. So I'm gonna be first using the put call, and then I'm gonna be using 123, but the body here would be something like, I mean, I could send an object, and that would throw an error, right? It says 404 not found. But I'm using a put call. Do I have a put call here in the controller? I don't think. I have a patch. I don't have a put call. I have a patch call. So a patch call, if I send this, it says 500 because we have an error, right? And the error is because we, what? What? It's game controller TS. It says URL not found. Well, shut up. Let me see. So ID is being fetched here. Then you get it where ID is there, and then you provide the data, right? Now this body is supposed to be either null or a string. That's why it's probably getting an error. If I send this, no, it's not the case. So API slash games slash patch param ID string where ID is this. But why? Participants URL body. Why though? Should I check this again? I'm gonna hit a couple of enters. Can I do that? No, I cannot. So the thing is, I am absolutely confused. When ID equals to null, so that means this should, maybe we shouldn't be sending these, right? Maybe we shouldn't be sending these at all. And now it's a bad request because we need to, and now we got a 500. And I don't know why we are getting a 500 at all. Why are we getting a 500? Argument of type URL string is not assembled to parameter of get where unique input. Is it causing, so it's 352 right here, okay? 352.19, and this error was shown around, I don't see the time, 352.04. So if I do this again, no, it's the same error. 352.19 a.m. Send it again. 352.19 again. I'm gonna save this guy. But we still get, when we save this, we still get this error. That is bizarre. Why do we get this error? I'm gonna serve the API again. Do we still get the error? I'm gonna cry if we do. No, we don't get the error. So if I send this now, we still have issues, but at least we don't get the error. So that's fine. Why though? When we do a patch, we get the ID. Then we get the ID out of it. Then we return the update here. When we go to update, we say const where data equals params. Then we say update data where. And the unique input here is ID and the string. Sorry. So we do get the ID. We do get the string. However, however, the ID is retrieved from the URL, which is fine. And we get the ID, which is string. I don't know why are we getting the 500 in that case. The body should be string. That's what I know. The winner ID could be null. I don't really know. But now it's a bad request. Now why is it a bad request? Status code 400, Prisma service, exception filter, HTTP router, internal server error. Should we also get the error? No. Should we also send the exception itself? Maybe we should also send the exception itself, right? I'm gonna send the exception itself, so I see what's happening. Exception expected number in JSON at position. What? Oh, yeah, that's sad. Let's see. So let's see. We have 2 likes. Now we got 500 as an error. Client version 33380. What does that mean? All right. Can we debug 9229? Can we debug this? So let's run. Okay. No extensions found. Oh, because sad. Um, I do need to see why we don't have this working before I go to bed. The body is update game DTO, which is this. So we get, let's see. So we get created at, all right, URL body, which is a string, likes, which is should be a number, winner ID could be null, participants. Everything here is optional. What if I just send this object? You know, it works. What the? Should I not send? I should not send the ID. Damn. Should not be sending the ID. There we go. So if I change this to like 20, there we go. All right, so we got all of these working. Let's quickly go to MongoDB instance and see if that's looking good. Where is my MongoDB instance? माशाल्लाह सुबह सुबह स्ट्रीम माशाल्लाह सुबह सुबह आपकी है मेरी तो रात हो रही है अभी. It's about 4 a.m. here. मैं भाग के जाऊंगा. नमाज पढ़ूंगा और सो जाऊंगा. But yes, let's see. So if I refresh the database, I should see the game. Unique 123, likes 20, null, winner ID. Yes. Cool. Easy for SN. Yes. Most likely. Now I'm feeling sleepy. All right. So I think I'm going to stop here. I need to sleep. We are at a good point where someone can create a game and then we can generate a URL. We can send that URL to different people. They can join the game and then we start the game. Boom. And then we have a bunch of other stuff to do as well. The deadline for this hackathon is, if I say MongoDB, Atlas Hackathon, switch to this tab. So the deadline was when? 13th? So 13th January 2022 at 11:59 PT Pacific time. Right? What time is it PT? So it's 12th January 2022, which means that वहाँ 8 बज रहे हैं. Yes, I know. आप लोग 4 घंटे आगे हो हमसे. So you're 4 hours ahead of us. Right now here it's 4 a.m. You can look at here. So it's still night. So they are how much hours behind us? It's about 8 hours, right? No, 9 hours. 9 hours? 20? Yeah, 9 hours. 5 hours and then 4 hours. So it's 9 hours behind us, which means I got a lot of hours, right? So I still got 20 uh 25 hours to complete this. I'm gonna sleep, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna work a bit, and then I'm gonna continue with the hackathon. All right, let's do this, everyone. We're going to finish this, and hopefully, if everyone loves our game, which is by the way beautiful, at least in terms of UI, we have not finished it. We have just started it, but if everyone loves it, we're gonna probably win some cash and some swag as well. All right. So we have only one viewer on Twitch, so I don't really believe it's gonna make a difference if I rate someone with one user. They're probably gonna laugh. But I'm gonna quickly go to bed, leaving you with this inception. And in the meantime, everyone, have fun, take care of yourself, take care of your surrounded people, and I'm gonna see you later. Thanks, whoever joined. Bye bye. Have a good one. Have a good night.